Our coverage continues on the 195 bridge breakdown as people continue navigating the massive emergency detours. Good afternoon, I'm Kate Walsh. Live pictures from the RIDOT pinpoint traffic camera. Crews trying to make it possible to drive both ways as soon as possible. It might be this weekend, they said, when those bypass lanes could open on the eastbound 195 side, built much more recently. For now, the detour heading west into East Providence on Broadway and over the Henderson Bridge was slow going again this morning. And East Providence schools are back in classrooms today in person. And again, we're expecting another DOT and governor briefing just under half an hour from now. In a moment, we'll get to Jake Holter, who's been talking to people still wrestling with traffic in new directions. But first, Alex Torres-Perez is at the Department of Transportation headquarters ahead of another daily briefing and update coming up in less than a half hour from now. Alex.
Kate, that's right. Once you really get across the Henderson Bridge, traffic seems to be flowing a lot more smoothly than earlier this week. However, that's not really saying much because people are still having to sit in their cars for long periods of time.
You know, there's a lot of traffic. No, no, it was worse. Yeah.
This driver has been sitting in his car for at least 30 minutes as he tries to Uber Eats in the community. But the traffic is making that job a lot more difficult.
When I had to cancel a couple of orders.
People who live at Wayland Square even opting out of driving to the other side of the river to avoid the traffic nightmare, which they're still seeing in their own backyard.
There's gridlock almost every block.
RIDOT expects to open bypass lanes on 195 this weekend to help alleviate the traffic, but there are some concerns.
So I'm sure it'll help the situation coming west, but it's going to exacerbate the problem going east.
Roger Brown hopes the state gets federal aid in order to help fix the bridge quickly. But Governor Dan McKee says that a disaster declaration is not possible at this time.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify on something you just said. Because the bridge didn't collapse, you can't basically apply for a disaster.
It doesn't fall into that category because you didn't have a disaster and we avoided a disaster.
Yeah, so Governor Dan McKee says he will be signing a letter today to the SBA to try to get some federal aid to local businesses that were impacted by this bridge shutdown. He's also having ongoing discussions with congressional leaders, including Secretary Pete Buttigieg, to try to get some federal aid to try to fix the bridge. Of course, that press conference happening in the next half hour will be there, and we'll bring you those latest updates both on air and online at WPRI.com. Reporting live in Providence, Alex Torres-Perez, 12 News.
Thanks, Alex. Drivers in East Providence also dealing with traffic issues early this morning. 12 News reporter Jake Holter has been out there since 4:30 this morning. He spoke with some drivers stuck there and joins us now with what they had to say. Jake.
Well, traffic is just crawling here in East Providence again this morning as motorists try to make their way across the Henderson Bridge to get over the Seekonk River, and drivers telling me that they are extremely frustrated with the situation.
It's terrible. It really is. I can't believe they let it go this far.
It's the third day in a row morning commuters have been stuck in what feels like an endless line of stop and start traffic going through East Providence to make it over to the western half of the state.
It took me 2.5 hours the first day, an hour and a half yesterday, and I've been in this 40 minutes already.
And you still got to get over the bridge.
My GPS says 55 more minutes, yeah.
Drivers telling me they wish that local officials were tackling the situation better.
I think that they need to come up with a solid plan. Stop shutting off all the back roads and get everybody in the same direction so it's not complete chaos for everybody on the back roads, and come up with a plan for school buses and stick to it so that people have a route to go to.
The closure not only impacting drivers but also really putting the hurt on local business in the area.
It's ruined business. We've been closing early every day. We have literally, some people come in, but hardly anything of what we're used to.
Desperate drivers stuck in standstill traffic, even getting out of their cars to use the bathroom at this diner.
We've had people come in to use the restroom, people that were stuck out in traffic. It's bad. It's very hard on the local businesses around the area. Everybody's hurting.
Reporting in East Providence, Jake Holter, 12 News.